Hey guys, how you doing? It's Misty from At Home with Misty Fears. Gosh, let me see if I can pop some of that up here really quickly. There you go. So my store is at charlottegray.store. I'm not sure why it takes that H out of the in front of the TTPS. I need to adjust that, make it a www. Same thing, right? Anyway, let me know when you guys hop on. I'm going to pull you up on Facebook here real quick. I've got you in Switcher and one of the apps that are within it, kind of exchanging the screen. So you can see my workspace. This is what we're going to be working on today. This is a mold by Prima. And let me find the live here. Let me update that. There it is. Okay, so let me mute it. It pops right up. Nice. Excellent. So I can open that up and read comments. Hi, Denise. How you doing, girl? Nice to see you. So this is the glorious Christmas mold that we have coming on. I'm in the middle of trying to get some shipping things taken care of. There's a delay. I'm having paid a bunch for shipping, had some additional expenses, and it's kind of catching me off guard. Anyway, hi Kathy, how are you doing? So I was watching, I haven't been able to use mold for a while because of this wound that's been on my hand. The stitches have been removed, it's looking much better. It's still tender, and so I want to be careful with what I do. This is a product that I use. It is called Formflex. There you go. And Tammy Yaw is the patent holder / inventor of this, and it's pretty amazing. But it's it keeps the molds remaining flexible. Hi Donna, how are you, girl? Yes, I'm still at. You have to watch the replay. I just explained a couple things on there, but just wanted to touch base, and I'm pushing my luck here because let me grab one of these thicker cards. I just need to cut some of this out. I store mine in the refrigerator just to help. Now this is the very first time that I'm putting any product on this wound. So far so good. It's a nice soft one, but it's finally closed enough that it's not going to contaminate the wound itself. I just want to be really careful with this. So usually what I do, I don't have any molds in the freezer at this time, so I cannot unmold this. I might be able to get a little bit of it done, but it's not going to be exactly where I want it to be. So I'm just need to stop myself right there. I need to use cornstarch. And there's an alarm going off. How bizarre is that? So sorry. Anyway, I want to spread some cornstarch through this, and let me see if I can touch that up there somewhere, maybe get it to stop. I'm going to have to pull the camera down, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm still here. You can still hear me. And, it's not even showing that there is an alarm on it, but how bizarre. Anyway, let me go back to Switcher. Good, it's letting me come back in, show this device, share the camera. Hi, Misty. How are you doing, girl? This is kind of crazy. It just knocked out my other camera. Let me go back and see if I can add it back in. There it is, reconnect it, and then I'll have to put it back in place. Hopefully it will just realign back up. It's loading. Had to hit the allow button, and we're back in. Let me put us back in place here. Okay, let me get this back up on top so we can get you guys back in here. Awesome, almost like it never happened. Let me get you across here. Hi, there we go, got it. So we turned off the alarm. So anyway, I'm just gonna run some cornstarch on here. I don't need it really thick, but I do need to put it into the mold. It helps allow the release. And as you guys can see in this mold, the intricacies of this particular mold, this is a brand new release from Prima. And some of you have it ordered, and I do have it in your containers. Everybody is boxed up. I've been making some errors by rushing things and shipping out too many of the same items. And so I want to be careful with that because it's adding to the expense. which is now costing me, I need to get the funds. Payday is happening in a couple days, so whenever that happens, I can get it back out. And I'm super embarrassed and super apologize for it, but I've been picking up lots of extra expenses and different things on these orders just to try to help people out. So it looks like I started to mold that already, so I'm just going to push that back in. And I'm going to use my palm to get this down in here, and it does want to lift, but I just want to go at a pace where it's not doing that. And it's all, my FormFlex has been in the refrigerator. I just store all my FormFlex in the refrigerator. My hands are warm, and it tends to want to pull it back up out of the mold, and I don't want to do that. So that's kind of where we're at. We lost some of these things. And then I want to continue to add and fill up all of those spaces. This mold is not necessarily one of the deepest molds I've seen. And there is a slight chance that we may be able to unmold it directly instead of putting it in the freezer. Sometimes we get lucky with those. Certain molds will allow us to do that with the FormFlex. But it's definitely a game changer once you use it and it doesn't crack, and you can use it right away. Then you just play with it and figure that out. But let me put this last little bit of a piece in here. It's a little bit stiffer just because it had some air dry components to it. So once I have that in here, I'm going to want to take a flat piece of texture. I'll just put it up here. It's just a piece of plastic. And I'm going to want to press that evenly into all of the components of that mold so that everything shows up. And I want to flatten it out, meaning get the excess molding materials off to the side of the mold as I go. And that will give you that nice, beautiful bottom to that mold as well. And this one is really overloaded, so I'm just going to pull some of that off. And then I'll come back in and really impress that into the mold. And it looks as though this is overloaded here as well. So I want to dig a little bit into that, pull that back out, and there. And then I can come back in and get a really nice impression and scooting it off to the side of the mold as we go. Down at this end, it is looking as though it's starting to lift. So I want to spread it even thinner and bring it to the edge. Again, this is all practicing on that. Hi, Maria, how you doing, hon? So then from here, I do want to take a little bit of the cornstarch and rub it across the card in itself, just so that it doesn't have any sticky edges to it, and it will just work much better. And I may need to do that a few times. So then I'm going to tilt the card at an angle and try to pull off a little bit at a time. And you can see that it lifted a little bit out of there, so I want to push some more in there to fill it back up. I am still, I've been molding for a long time, but there is a learning curve to this, so just be patient. Tamia does some amazing videos showing us all how to do this. She is very, very skilled at what she does. So I want to bring that up a little bit there. If I get stuck, this is another tool it's just a palette knife. I think that I have a little bit more control with that because I can really skim it right off the top. And I'm hoping that, let me get you guys back on camera. I'll turn that around a little bit so you can see it. And then I want to pull this off. I've just had a lot of better luck with the palette knives than the other. It just really cleans up along that edge. And I can reverse it and pull it back in, and I can slice it as I go and continue to pull that back off. Hi Cindy, how you doing? And Elaine, Andy, hi guys. It's good to see you guys. So I just want to keep pulling this back out. Again, this is the new Prima. It's called Glorious Tree, and it is such a beautiful mold. This is my first time using it. I wasn't taking any time because I had other shipping commitments to get done, and there just became an issue that I saw today that could use some help with this. And so I thought, gosh, I haven't done a molding thing in a while, so I think I'll put up a new video for everybody to watch. Yes, I'm digressing, sorry. I want to get this even and across the bottom here. So the palette knife is just a really nice tool to get that clean and off of there. So the other thing that I don't know that you're recognizing that I'm doing is that I'm using the base of the knife. Say, let me find a camera that I can put you on. Kind of the butt of the knife where it's flat, where the pressure point goes down to. And I'm putting that over here where I can actually put some pressure there. And then it keeps that tip up so I don't dig too deep in the middle. And then I can drag it down across the entire piece. And this is a little bit brave because I'm doing it from the wrong side. I should be over on the other side doing that. And so this mold is looking pretty decent here. So that was a pretty clean flush. Let me pull it across the bottom here. Again, I'm putting the pressure at the butt of the knife and pulling it. And then let me do it one more time from this angle. And that's pretty clean. Okay, so if I'm really fortunate, and keep in mind that the clay, it's not even clay, that the Formflex has been in the refrigerator, so it's already pretty cold. Sometimes we get very fortunate and we can lift and actually roll the mold. And I'm going to try to do that. I'll probably just finish it. So far, it's looking pretty good. It's a little bit risky because it's way up at the top of the mold. Yeah, it's splitting. So I'm going to push it back down, flatten it one more time across the bottom, try to retain that and bring it back in and push it back together. So yeah, so I'm abandoning that because it was starting to lift with the pieces. So what I would do with this at this point, and which I do with the majority of the molds I create or push, I'll flatten it back out using a flat card and just get that bottom reinforced and pushed back into place. There has been a little bit of a shift, and I don't necessarily want to do that, so I'm going to add just a small piece back in and flatten that back down. And then I will go ahead and do the knife technique one more time. And just pull that on up. Okay, so got it much cleaner. Again, you can see how clean the outline is of that mold. Let me pull it up there so you guys can see that. And then from here, I would take it and actually I'm going to leave this piece to share with you how to do it. You can see in this section here, there's a little bit of the other direction right there. There's a little bit of shadowing up in here, meaning it's just not as clean as it should be, especially right there. And so when I put this in the freezer, there's another one down here, probably a couple. And when I pull that out of the freezer, wherever you have little shadows that are not exactly cleaned off, you're going to be able, once you pull this out of the freezer, you just pull the edges back away from the mold like this. You would just separate it. I don't want to do it now because I don't want the product to split. But you would just pull it back and it will lift and you go around all of the other angles of it. Hi, Heather. Welcome in. And then you kind of get it in an island in the middle where that's the only piece sticking back. And from that, you can just flip it upside down and peel the mold the rest of the way off. And because it's in its frozen state, the package does state that once you pull it out of the freezer to leave it for 10 minutes. That is not the case. Don't do that. Remove it immediately because it's in its hardest form, which is the easiest way to release your molds. And then let it rest for about 10-20 minutes or so if you want, if you need to. A lot of times I don't even need to do that, but you can just use it immediately. But that is how you would do the mold. Again, the palette knife is my favorite tool just because it cleans it up. And the trick to it is resting the butt on the edge of the mold and then just pushing down there, and then the tip of the knife just scoots right down nice and flat. So that is how you would build one of these molds. They are amazing. Here, I have a bunch here. Yeah, I tried putting some fine glitter in the base of it, and I didn't put a carrier like water or something in it. But this was done, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago. But look at this. Let me keep it under the camera for you. See how flexible that is? So if I wanted to put it around, you know, something, gosh, that is just really off of this situation. But you can go around items. You can do, you know, whatever you want. Like if I wanted to add it here, if I just needed a piece of it, let me show you what it takes to cut this. So I have a piece of paper from the event that I did here recently. But so if I wanted this on a, oh my gosh, my angles, is it 45 or is it 90 degrees? Whatever it is, I'm going to take and put a mitered edge on that. And I'll just take my X-Acto blade and just pull that across there. And then if I were to do this exactly on the other end, yeah, you can see that it will go back together, that it will fit in there so that when you go around a corner, you can get that piece together. Or if you're making a picture frame or something, that's how you would cut that to get it to bring it on down, you know, if it was another full piece or whatever. It's super flexible. It's easy to cut through, to reshape it or whatever. Even if I wanted to do, I don't know, like a Think Pink ribbon. This is like a great start of that. Let me turn it back the right way so you can see it. So if I wanted to create a Think Pink ribbon out of this guy, you can potentially do that as well. But anyway, I just wanted to pop on here real quickly and answer some questions. Does anybody else have any questions? Denise, they're easiest to work with and are guaranteed to work directly out of the freezer. And you put it in there for just like 20 minutes. It depends on the depth of the mold, the thickness. The thicker, the longer. You want it to stay in there longer. And you can leave it in the freezer for weeks. You know, it doesn't matter, or however long. They can be pre-done in the freezer. Currently, I don't have any in the freezer. I think I was playing with them around the time that I injured the hand, so I stopped doing molds. But yeah, so they can stay in there. Some of these, like these guys, these are all air dried. These were not freezer. These just, I put them in the mold, and because they're straight and they're pretty straightforward, they just popped right out. And I've had that on several of the molds. Where this is becoming awkward is that there's such a gap between the two, like here. If I push my finger up at the bottom, you can see that there's a little bit of separation here. But if I'm pushing it really hard right here, it's not pushing that little tang out. And so I'm going to lose that element of this mold. And I don't want to do that. So I'm, you know, not going to do that. I'm not going to push my luck here. So this one is going in the freezer. But something like this where there aren't a lot of side elements, you would just separate the mold from this and it literally just pops right out. It's really easy. That particular piece comes from a mold that has lots of the borders in there. I'm still looking at a bunch more over here. I think this one has like 6 elements of that. Let me flip them all over so that you guys can see what those look like, and I'll bring them up close to the camera. So you see all of the elements that you can design with. That one is rolling the other direction. And so they will kind of shape, but you can flatten them back out and get what you need out of them. But these are pretty cool. And then once you get them made, I just use this Titebond and glue the back of them. But you can use anything to glue it down. You know, E6000, any wood glue. I've even used Mod Podge in a couple of spots, but and you'll figure it out as you go. But yeah, the molds are super, super easy, but there is a learning curve. It has taken me, gosh, a few months to get this down with practice. And each time I practice, I learn something new, but I always go back and I watch Tammy Yaw's videos from formflexcompound.com or from Formflex Compound on Facebook. I'm terrible at this. Anyway, so if you go back and watch her videos, she covers it. And each time I watch, I guess I'm stubborn, I don't see it or something. But she's amazing. She's got really great techniques and different things. But yeah, so any other questions or thoughts? Or I can go on and talk about what you have. So when you're done with this, you can add any embellishments that you want to these. Let me just grab like a rub and buff type and share with you what, you know, one of the options that you can do. Why don't I, since I've already destroyed one, let me just grab that one and work on that. So you could take your rub and buff, you can pre-paint it, and each time you put it on there, this is a wax from Prima, but hopefully you can see the details of that. I'll get you there someday, sorry. Yeah, so you can see the details of just rubbing that back and forth. This is a pretty cool wax, but if I had painted underneath there first, I would have gotten, you know, that embellishment up over the top of something else. But yeah. Sophie's saying hi, guys. She's such a crack up. I'm so sorry about that. She comes in from outside. There's a neighbor dog named Sophie, and she loves to be out there with him. So it just triggers her. But anyway, oh, and then how do I clean the molds? You know, I don't worry so much about the cornstarch in them. And these pretty much clean out decently. But, you know, like your stencil brushes, these types of guys, I can put it here in front of this camera too. These guys here, you can go back in and just wipe it out really well with that. You can put a baby wipe in there. Just make sure that there's no alcohol in there. Alcohol is drying, and you don't want to dry any of these guys out. You can run them underwater, you know, just brush them clean. I don't mind the cornstarch in there. So this is a great example. So there is some stuff here that I don't necessarily want, so I can just come in and brush that out. And then I have a pretty clean mold. And that can go back into, I do, just to give you guys a heads up, people always want to know the names of your molds. So I keep this sleeve. There is a, oh gosh, a plastic acrylic type sleeve, a thin one that goes over the top of this, and I don't keep that. But I do keep this sleeve, and then let me grab one of the boxes and I'll share with you what I do with it. Never mind, I don't want to do it. So it's going to be a pain. So what I'll do on the side of this, I'll write in a permanent marker the name of the mold, so that if I'm laying these down in a box where they're, you know, back in their sleeve, and I have it laid down for storage, all I have to do is catalog it from the top. And so I'll just put a permanent marker up across this, let it dry, and then I have the name of that. And I'm getting to a point where I'm starting to alphabetize those just because I'm starting to remember some of those. But it's just for a quick grab. You can organize them by season or, you know, whatever else that you would like. Hi, Elaine and Roxanne. Anyway, so this guy here, and I don't have to get it to the freezer right away. The sooner the better, of course, would be. As I'm moving this, I'm noticing that I can see better cracks along that edge without actually bending this or breaking it. It's still not there. Some of them are, but yeah, see, it's still catching here. And then if it starts to dry out on you, seriously, all you would need to do is just spray a little bit of water on your hand, and then you can touch it and fill that back in, and it will reconstitute the cleanliness of that so that it doesn't crack so much. But once they're dry, they don't crack. There's very, very little, if ever, any cracking. But it's just not. On the back side, I hesitate to show you because it's my bad forming of it. It's not that it was cracking, it's just, you can see I didn't have it flat enough. But anyway, so that is a 101 on molds. But I'll pop on here maybe tomorrow and pop this out and try to play with it and embellish it. But yeah, so these are pretty cool. I do have, gosh, I think I have 67 molds or something like that in stock here at the house. Those molds, they get shipped right away. They get shipped the same day. If there's a mold that I'm out of, those are the ones that have been causing delay. I just got off their site and checked Thornton Medallion, In the Garden. And there were a couple of others that are still back ordered. They're probably on the ship in the dock. But as you guys have been watching the news, there's a ton of ships in the dock, at the harbor, and it's backing up. So I don't know what the pause is. It might be people not wanting to go back to work. I'm not sure what it is, or it might be our political parties, human rights movements in China, etc. Who knows? But anyway. But if it's in stock, and if in doubt, if you're in a hurry for something, definitely text me first before you place the order. I can always refund it too, but I just don't want anyone to be surprised. There were a lot of orders that I've been shipping out. I think I've had over 40 this last week, and I can't quite get the 10 that I have in stock out the door yet. I'm trying my best, you guys, but I'm really at a jam. And I'm trying to work through it. It should be naturally worked out in about 2 days, at worst case. But I'm trying everything in my power to get it shipped out in the morning. But I'm trying, you guys. Anyway, thank you guys. Oh, and I took off my glasses. It looks like Heather sent me a message, so let me put the glasses back on. But is it used to? Yes. Yes, absolutely. You can use, here's the only rule on these molds, with silicone molds kind of across the board, is as long as they say food safe. These are food safe, but once you use with food, always stick with food. And especially in reverse, if you use it for craft, never use it for food. So keep it pure, keep it clean. But yes, for crafting, I use hot glue, Formflex. I've used the molding clays. I've used resin. There are a lot of different products that you can put into these things. So feel free to do whatever you want. Gosh, I'm trying to think of the case where I've seen people actually put them in the ovens. I'm not recommending, I'm not suggesting, but I have seen where people have done that and they've been very successful with it. So I just want to put a disclaimer out there because I have not done it and I don't know. And so, oh yeah, they are beautiful molds. I am really loving these molds. I had the, let me grab it here real quickly, trying to reach around without showing too much. Okay, so these are the Regal Trimmings molds. I believe that's what I just used on those other ones that I showed you. This is the poinsettia. That is a new one. I'll try to get in the light. And I'll pull it out so you can see that. So it's not very, there are some deeper areas within the big poinsettia, but then the holly branches and the berries and then the little leaves outside of it. This is really a beautiful mold. I haven't used it yet, but it is, you can just tell that they're gorgeous. I'm trying to get this box out. The reason I didn't, oh, there went the magic mirror, darn it. That's one of the reasons I didn't do it. But anyway, let me pull out this other guy. Everything is okay, don't worry. This is another new one. It is called the Lowell Borders. There you go. Get it out of that direct light. Those are really cool. These would be great for wreaths and different things that you're making through the season. There it is open, so you can get a visual of it. And then, there it is. This is the snowflake. Isn't that beautiful? And there are 3 different types that you can build on that. Thank you, Elaine, so much for sprinkling. You're such a doll. I love it when you guys are helping me. Oh, I can update you. My house is in escrow. So I accepted an offer Tuesday night. That was very distracting to getting things done. But it's in escrow. I am moving. I need to find a home in my new destination. I'll share that at a later date. But and I need to get that house into escrow ASAP. So basically, my life is going to be upside down for a while. And I'm hoping that mid-January I'll be back and be ahead of the game. So keep watch. You know, I'm so sorry for this stuff, but Holly's medical doctors are where we're headed. They're very familiar with her, and they've all been very gracious in accepting us back. So it's going to be a really positive thing, but it is a journey. So just bear with us as we go through this journey, and I'll try to make it as painless as possible for you guys. But thank you guys, and yeah, I don't think that I have, no, none of those. Those are all newer molds. And I don't have them labeled yet on the side, but that's how I would do that. So if you guys have any questions on this, hopefully you can refer back to this video to do it. But Tammy Yaw is she's way better at this than I am. So just check back with her. I used to sell these in my store, but the magic mirror needs some repair now. So sorry, you guys. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me, and I will check back in another time. God bless you guys. Take care. Bye.